What we see is Cambodian SMEs, startups, entrepreneurs still continue to be faced by a number of barriers which are preventing their growth and their development. A lot has been done by the government of Cambodia to change that. However, the results are not yet achieved, but are foreseeable. More importantly is, more mechanisms are needed to enable what we call forwards and backwards linkages to be made with SMEs and manufacturing investment from overseas. So those need to be put in place. And then, of course, SMEs, entrepreneurs, startups will have to develop, okay, in order to meet the standards or the expectations of, we'll say, global consumers, global marketplace, international manufacturers, investment, etc. So there's a ways that have to go for SME startup development. Our project, the WorldBridge SME or 4.0 SME cluster, is intended to do that. So we'll hopefully be able to, we'll say, raise the level, the standards of local SMEs and startups so that they are able to work with foreign manufacturing, foreign investment, global markets, global value chains. The primary difference is that our 4.0 clusters are designed specifically to bridge the gap between FDI and SMEs. Special economic zones are for FDI. Clusters of SMEs are for SMEs, okay? They're intended to be separate, right? Not to interact or work with each other, okay? And this is where, I want to say, the gap or the difficulties will continue to exist for, say, sustainable industrial development and economic growth. Cambodia has to integrate its ICT sector and its entrepreneurs. They will play a key role in Cambodia's sustainable economic growth and development. So there are 4 parties involved, and this is something that clusters of SMEs or special economic zones are not able to do, is to create the linkages between FDI, ICT, entrepreneurs, SMEs. Right? You have to create and complete all of those linkages in order to create or enable sustainable growth. Right? As I said, SEZs, clusters of SMEs or industrial parks, don't do that. They can't, and they can't do that. They're not set up that way. First, its purpose, okay, and the approach that we've taken. This has not been done before in Cambodia. Traditional special economic zones and industrial parks and all of that, as we've noted, don't provide the linkages. We set out specifically to remove barriers and create linkages. So it's innovative in that respect. Right? Next is the way that the cluster will, we'll say, operate. So once again, the aspects of specialization, use of 4.0 based ecosystems, the use of technology to link everything together, the role that we play of active management and value chain creation. Each one is not necessarily an innovative thing, but integrating that into the operations of a cluster is, I feel, in itself innovative. It has not been done before here in Cambodia. Other aspects, are in the integration of, we'll say, flexibility, modularity, meaning that we know that change has to be able to occur. To create growth, sustainable growth, you have to have innovation. You need to have entrepreneurship. You need to make new products or be able to change to make new products. So that is key, very, very key, critical part of economic development. So traditional industrial parks and all that don't allow for that. This ecosystem and we'll say the concepts of 4.0 as applied to manufacturing will bridge that gap. The whole concept of the ecosystem and its realization in our 4.0 clusters will take a long time to explain everything. But simply put, what that ecosystem is made up of is first facilities, and then amenities, next infrastructure, next is services, next are technical platforms. All of those things at higher standards and transparency levels, that's what FDI is looking for. That's what SMEs need in order to compete globally or work with foreign investors. So by putting an ecosystem which removes barriers and enables FDI and SMEs to work together, then SMEs will grow and they can be competitive in global markets.